Timer's not ticking down.
Let's see that. Okay. And just like that, we are live. Hello, friends. Hello, renegades. Welcome in. Robert Imbriale here. I'm joined by my buddy Bruce Poppy today. We're going to have a little bit of fun, but sorry for the slight delay there. We had a little bit of an audio issue I was trying to work out. I know you like to hear Bruce, but you don't have to hear him twice. And that was one of the challenges we were having. So anyway, we got that ironed out. We're back in good form here. It is Monday, and I got to tell you, I've been watching a lot of your messages. I've been hearing a lot of the things people have been saying, and literally the word of the month for July so far is what? What do you think? Frustration, right? That's the number one word I'm hearing. Again and again, people are just frustrated by all the things that are going on. Guys, it's a war. Right? We know that. We've been saying this for a long time. It's a war. And in the war, there are many battles. Some won, some lost. We want to win the war, not necessarily going to win every battle. Some we're going to lose. And I think, just got to take the good with the bad sometimes. And I think that's really where we are in a lot of places. So I think President Trump is relying on all of us. Lewis has been saying this for a long time. And, it's always going to come back to we the people. We can't abandon the mission because it gets tough. And I know a lot of people are feeling that way. I saw a lot of people burning their MAGA memorabilia this weekend. It's just one of those things. The frustration is real, no question. There are people who have emailed me and have posted online. They said, I can't take it anymore. It's way too frustrating. My frustration needle's at the top and I need a little break from it. And I say, that's great. Take a little break if you need a break. You don't need to be on top of everything every second of the day. You could take a little pause from it, and that's actually healthy to do. I do it. I didn't do much yesterday. I was looking at the feeds yesterday during the day. I was doing other things. I need a little break, right? Because there's so much going on. It's hard. In the end, I think this is, the truth is always going to be up to us. And you might say, well, I'm just a little guy. I've only got 2 people following me on Twitter. I've got a very small following, and I can't make an impact. The truth of the matter is the algorithms are watching every single post that's out there. So if you like a post, if you share a post, if you comment on a post, it's a sign. So let's say the Trump administration wants to say, what's going on? What's on people's minds today? They can literally today tap into AI, ask that question. AI will go out and do the research and bring back the numbers. That quick. And tell you what's on people's minds. Well, we know what we're going to talk about today, right? The list is the number one thing that's on people's minds. And people were freaked out over that when Trump said, hey, get out of here. No, we're not talking about that anymore. Blew a couple of circuits for people last week. I did a broadcast on Thursday, kind of help people just understand, hey, take a deep breath here. We're in the middle of this. This is going to get hotter before it starts cooling down. The deep staters are very smart, and they have a plan, I'm sure, to divide us. They don't want us all together and all working in the same direction. We're too powerful. Do everything they can to create the dysphoria, the dysfunction, get people to abandon the mission. Guys, not time to abandon the mission. It's getting tough. It's getting muddy. Might be a little bit cold, wet, that kind of thing. We got to forge on. We're going to talk a lot about that today. Now, we don't know. The truth of the matter here is we don't have to agree on everything. Oh, I don't agree with Trump on this. So what? There's a lot of things I don't agree with him on. A lot of things I agree with him on. I'm keeping focus on the prize. What's the prize? We want the deep state gone. And if we stay there, we stay the course there, we'll get there. but together, not divided, we're going to get there. So shut it off, take a break, do what you need to do, get back into the game. It's okay to take a nap. It's okay to have a coffee or tea and sit out in the sun for a little bit. Iced tea and lemonade, I think, this time of year. But whatever you do, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give in. We got this. We're going to be in good shape. And, if you don't believe me, watch what Denise posts in the chat room. She's always going to say the same thing. We got this. We will win. And she's right. 100% right. All right. You've heard enough about me, from me. Let me bring in my co-host for today. I'm so proud to have this guy on board today. Mr. Bruce Poppy. You don't know where he is, but he's not in the same place he was last week. Hello, Bruce.
Yeah, I'm like the wind, man. It's hard to catch me.
You are. You had quite an eventful week. I don't know if you care to share some of that, but...
Yeah, it was, long story short, we moved from Clearwater, Florida up to Festus, Missouri, which is about 45 minutes southwestish of St. Louis in Missouri. And it was a very tumultuous trip, to say the least. The most exciting thing was we were traveling down a very narrow country road, Trucks are whizzing by me as I'm focused, white knuckling the wheel, trying to keep in between the lines. And a truck eased over onto me, and his mirror clipped my mirror and slapped that mirror into my driver's side window and exploded the glass all over me while I'm driving. And there was no place to stop, turn around. There was no way. But yeah, it could have been so much worse. And here's the thing. You think you're having a bad day. I thought that was horrible. I'm having a bad day. But about 10 minutes down the road, after we cleaned up the mess a little bit and continued on our journey, there was stopped traffic for 45 minutes. I could see billowing smoke in the sky in front of me. By the time we got moving, drove past what was there, it was a huge, a big RV similar to mine, towing a big trailer, and they were all burnt to a crisp. Everything inside was just totally gone. So when you think you're having a bad day, there's somebody else out there that's having it way worse than you. So you just be grateful, practice some mindfulness, some gratitude, because things are never as bad as they seem. We always sit, and that kind of goes in with the theme of the show. You're talking about people being frustrated. We can't control what goes on over there, so it does no good other than cause you grief and anxiety and frustration and whatever other emotions you want to throw on there. That, hey, things aren't going the way I want, right? So, just calm down. Everything's going to be all right. Trust the plan. I was even playing around with my camera settings because I want to support Trump. I'm going to be go orange today. Orange man bad.
You're starting to look like Max Headroom. I don't know.
Oh, that's the old school one. Many people don't even know who Max Headroom is.
I'll tell you, the truth is, when people are feeling this way, they're feeling the frustration. It's really true because you're looking at what's going on a national, maybe even international level, and you're going, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. And then if you want to disconnect from it, Carol Maureen Friesen might say, hey, just come back to your center and come back and ground again, right? And come back to this current present moment here. And I always ask this question when things are like tumultuous like that. What's different in my life today than yesterday? What's really changed? And when you find out, you start going through that, well, I'm still wearing the same clothes. I got the same shoes. I got the same breakfast. I got, all the things that you do that are the same. Then you have a certain calm about it because it's like, okay, this is my world. That's there. I want to impact that, but it's not impacting me directly today. I'm okay. Right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that's the thing is we get too emotionally involved, and we have these expectations, whether they be realistic expectations or false expectations. They're expectations nonetheless. And those are the things that drive us crazy because we're expecting or wanting, certain things to happen a certain way. And then when they don't, we get our panties all in a wad and, can't seem to get out of our own way. And it's a magnifying effect in our lives. What, you feel concerning whatever may or may not be going on in the Trump, situation globally or geopolitically, that will spill over into your relationships, into, your work situation, into everything. It lowers your vibration, and we got to work so hard, especially now, to maintain that positivity, that high vibration, and be able to get through this thing and bring more people on board. That's what we're really lacking, is a massive, massive, massive number of people to be able to sway and push the needle more, push the needle quickly, move the ball down the field further than we seem to be right now.
And according to Joey G, it's important to keep your feet straight. Thank you, Joey G.
Yeah. I tell you, that's one thing. I mean, first time meeting Carol, she's always, telling me. So now I'm standing in line anywhere. I always check my feet, and I'm always having to, bring them back to line them up, because you don't want to be all duck-toed because your alignment is off. The stuff that she talks about is just amazing, and it's just basic stuff. How your body alignment and affects every darn thing in your life.
Good.
So
I'm going to brainstorm with you in a little bit. So hang on to the end, because we're going to have this conversation. It's actually planned in the outline for today.
I didn't get the show notes.
I haven't shared this with you yet, so I want your off the cuff kind of feeling about a plan that I have going forward. And she might be part of that plan too. So let's see. So just so you guys know, we're not playing any videos today. I have I'm repositioning and setting up things a little bit differently here in the studio, and playing the videos is no problem. Coming out of my software and going to you guys is great, but Bruce can't hear them. So there's a without creating an audio loop, I have to find a new way to make sure I can send the audio to him so he could hear the videos. So we're not going to skip playing videos today. So we have certainly some PowerPoint slides and things like that to keep it interesting, because you want to look at us for an hour. Hey, that's no fun. First thing I want to get started with, something happened this morning that was really kind of cool. Silver topped $39 an ounce. I remember it not that long ago. It was $24, $25. It had been sitting there for a long time. It sort of popped up. Kind of good to hear, huh, Bruce? What do you think about that?
I think, that's just normal course. I mean, is for when things are the way they are in the economic realm. The treasury yields are going down because the interest rates and the borrowing is too much, and then people retreat. Want that store of value, want to protect the hedge against inflation and different things. Going to silver, and then crypto has just been on a tear the last couple of days as well.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting time. So I sent out an email. I have a list of investors, and I sent out an email this morning letting people know, hey, silver hit a new high. I don't think it's an all-time high. I think it's been at 55. I think at some point, but it's certainly a high from the years that we've been following it, the most recent years anyway. And I said, if you want to find out more about silver and investing, give our friend a call, Matt Geiger, because he's the guy who sponsors this show and helps us out, helps Bruce and I. VerityMetals.com/renegade, or if you want to help Bruce out, VerityMetals.com/Poppy, Poppy, and you can get a free ebook there. We've got the top 10 mistakes investors make, and of course how to avoid them, so you can kind of keep Matt honest when you talk to him. 480-717-9081. You want to give him a call. We thank Matt for everything that he does, and I got to tell you, he's probably really busy right now, because as soon as these gold and silver hit new highs, all of a sudden people are like, I got to get in. It's like, maybe not the best time to get in, but that's what motivates people to get in. It's like, oh, it's going. I don't want to miss the train. I got to go. You know what I mean?
Right. No, that FOMO, fear of missing out, does kick in. Yep. And even at 39, it's still not. I think, I'm no expert, but based on just what I've seen and heard, it is artificially suppressed, and it can go a hell of a lot higher. And while you were playing the thing with Matt showing the slide, I looked up, when was the last time, here's a little piece of trivia that maybe when was the last time that silver topped over $39 an ounce?
I'm going to guess 98?
Nope, a little earlier than that. It was August of 2011.
Oh.
August. So 14 years ago was the last time that silver topped $39.
Wow. And it didn't, from what I remember, it didn't stay up there very long.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's a very fluid thing. But it's just like dollar cost averaging, and a little bit. Many people, I don't have $100,000 to put into a IRA, a silver IRA, or buy a bunch of silver. All you got to do is start with small. Just buy a handful of coins, right? The Silver Eagles, buy a handful of those. They're 35, between 35 and $40 a piece. So buy 3 or 4 of those a month. It's 120 bucks a month, and you sock that away, just sock that away. And before you know it, you're going to be, have a little stockpile there that when it does, and I'm not quoting, I'm not giving financial advice, but when it does, top over $100, or it could be 2, 5, who knows? Nobody really even knows where it will end up leveling out once the playing field becomes level. But you're going to be further along than you are than sitting waiting, thinking, I don't have money to do this. Let's get a hold of Matt. He'll work with you, get a handful of coins at a time, and you'll be better off for it.
Yeah, Tony Robbins had shared this many years ago, and he said, what you want to do is set aside, whatever you feel comfortable with. He was looking at 10% of your income, your monthly income, and just set it aside and make it as if it's a bill that you need to pay every single month. So put it in your investing account, either in stocks or bonds or in this case, precious metals. And you could say, hey, I've got a budget of $200 a month to buy precious metals. First of the month, you call Matt. I got $200. What do you got, Matt? And, you buy it. He will teach you, he'll also show you how to keep it safe in your house, because obviously, it's value, it's dollars, right? How to keep it safe, or have somebody else hold it for you. He's got, relationships with some of the best people that will hold the metals for you. So hold them safely and securely and close to your house. So, they're not across the country if you need them. You need an emergency or whatever. Yeah,
absolutely.
So Epstein is the word of the month here. It is blowing up left, right, and center. People are just blown up about this whole thing. Charlie Kirk had an event over the weekend, and oh my gosh, did you see some of those speeches of Epstein throughout the whole weekend? Just one after another. So much so that he came out this morning and he said, "That's it. I'm not talking about it for the time being. I'm done. You've heard enough about it on the weekend at the event."
No, and I think that's by design, right? Things are there. It can be either. It's a multitude of things. It could be a distraction from something, or just an uprise. I saw even on was MSNBC or CNN was touted some graphic that over 1,200% increase of Google searches of Epstein.
Yeah.
So many people who may be not aware of the Epstein situation or Pizzagate or any of that type of stuff, the problem that we have with child trafficking, are starting to search, so that you could be waking people up. So there's multitude of things that we don't know the inner workings and why certain things happen, but we know. I believe, this is my viewpoint, unpopular as it might be, that everything happens for a reason. There's no such thing as coincidences or accidents or things like that.
Yeah, and there's some people positing that this was intentional to bring this out the way they did, because now they got the left talking about it as well. I mean, CNN's even talking about it and demanding the files be released where they weren't before. And some people said, you know what, they want the files released because they believe Trump's name is on it. And they think everything they did to Trump when he was out of office, do you think if his name was on those files would have been the first thing that they would have brought out, right?
100%.
To completely destroy him. So, and by the way, there are pictures with him with, Epstein. But, it's guilt by association. I mean, I've talked about this before. When I'm at live events and stuff, people come up to me all the time. Hey, can I take a picture with you? Can I take a picture? I don't know who these people are. They could be mass murderers. I have no idea. Sure, take a picture. A big smile. I don't know who they are. I can't vet them all. And, it's that kind of thing. And I know he knew him. He didn't like him, but apparently Trump knew Epstein way back when.
Yeah. And Trump was, I believe, even involved in the initial arrest and all that stuff that went on in Florida, that first little case that kind of got shuffled under the carpet before it was a big deal and he got arrested federally. There was a thing in Florida, and I believe Trump was kind of kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
Once he found out. So there's like you said, if anything was derogatory and real within the Epstein files, the left would have released it a long time ago.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, we got to be careful. There's a lot of people. I see the comments in the Telegram channel and such, and I hear the people responding to this, and it's like I'm no longer following this one or I hate that one. Some people will look at some of the things we post in there, and they associate. Oh, you posted it, so you must believe it. Not necessarily. There's things we post in there to give you different versions of the story. So you make up your mind. It's the last thing I want to be is in a position to dictate to you how you should think. Right? That's not
Right.
the way this works. I know as a society, we're kind of used to the media doing that to us, but I don't want to do that. So things that on there, I don't necessarily believe everything. Some things, yes, some things, no. You have to make up your own mind. You got to figure out where you are on this. And this Epstein thing is the same thing. It's like, I'm not getting all hot and bothered because I really understand the bigger picture here. And I think you do too, Bruce. And we look at it and say, it's much more than this one guy. It's much more than a list. And by the way, there's no list is not accurate because we have the flight logs. But what do the flight logs mean? They're names of people who've been on his airplane. Okay, RFK Jr. came out this week and he said, yeah, I was on his airplane twice. He offered to fly my family home from Florida and somewhere else that he went. He said, that's all it was. There was nothing more than that. So I don't know that a list is really going to tell you very much. I don't know if flight logs are really going to tell you a whole lot. I don't know if there are visitor logs to the island. It's just because you were at a certain place doesn't mean you did something bad necessarily. Now, I'm not defending it because I don't know, but we're quick to make judgments, and I see that. We tend to be black and white with things. So he's bad. Look, I saw a picture with him, and he's bad. Why don't you get the rest of the story before you make the decision? You know what I mean?
No, and that's the thing is we tie too much emotions and this whole that the binary thing. Now there's a big segment of people online, that were or are so-called MAGA. They're saying now, oh yeah, if you support Trump, you're supporting pedophiles, because they're thinking that they're covering this up because it's going to implicate Trump, and that could be some of the psyop in this thing. There was a article in Gateway Pundit. Jamie Raskin went out on the Talking Head shows. And he's wanting Jim Jordan to subpoena Bondi, Cash, and Bongino to talk about this. So if the left is screaming for, they're covering it up to protect Trump, that's the angle that some people seem to be going. We'll have to see. But realistically, come on, think about this. A little bit of logic, take some emotion out of it. There's a list of people. We know that there's people, a lot of them are ruling elites that are pedophiles, that are implicated with the Epstein Island and what he was doing there. So if there was a list of people and you were looking to prosecute these people and you're putting together some type of case, doesn't it make sense that you would not release all this information to public? There has to be some evidentiary confidentiality. I don't know what all it means, but you're just not going to put it out there, for public opinion.
The challenge, Bruce, is if you put it out there and people come to the conclusion that these people are bad, you destroy their reputation. Then the question is, well, what if they didn't do anything bad? What if it was just RFK Jr. flying, getting a free flight for his family, and there was nothing nefarious there at all? All of a sudden, his career's ruined, right? Yep. So it's tenuous, and I'm not saying they're doing the right thing, the wrong thing, but we got to think through this a little bit. And if there's more to it, if it is international in scope, just releasing the list is going to create a horrible mess that they won't be able to prosecute going forward.
Yep, and it would throw societies into chaos because ruling elites would be take it down. They get the whole pitchfork and flame torches and stuff like that. It would cause, because I believe my viewpoint, unpopular as it might be, is there is high level people in multiple governments around the country that are implicated in this for sure.
Yeah. And is it just Epstein, or is he just a player in the bigger picture? Right? Because he clearly, as a math professor, how did he become so wealthy and so powerful? He was a chosen one, like Obama. Obama has no skill to be president of the United States. He was in the Senate. He voted president all the time. He wasn't involved in anything. Wasn't he a constitutional professor, apparently, at university level?
Allegedly.
Allegedly? Yeah,
so maybe honorary.
Exactly. And you look at that and you say, okay, so these people are chosen. They're installed. Katie Hobbs is a great example of an installation, absolutely unqualified for the position she's in. And, there she is, governor of Arizona. And, I'm thinking about my friends in Arizona who are in the chat room with us now. And it's like, I feel bad for you guys. I mean, of course, we've got Newsom here, but you got Katie Hobbs. And, Newsom is another one, was groomed and installed. He did not win his first election. He didn't beat the recall. And certainly he didn't win re-election, right? So yeah, we've got a lot to clean up, and I think the more you think through this, the more you realize it's like, yeah, we've got to go after the the election fraud. I think that is the number one thing that has to be done, because it's the only lever of power we the people really have, is
True.
to be able to put people in power that we believe are going to do the right thing, and when they're installed, when they're inserted like that, that's taken away from us. In California, when you have permanent mail-in balloting, right? You don't know, will your vote count? Will it actually be delivered? Will it be counted twice? Will it be counted for the other guy? You know what I mean? You have no idea. And they say, oh, you could check online. You could follow your ballot online. No. The only thing it'll tell you is we've received it. That's it. They don't tell you who you voted for. Like, just double check to make sure we got it right. Here's what we counted your vote for. That would be helpful.
Yeah.
If they're scanning them, that information exists. Why not give it to us? No.
Got to protect the anonymity of the voter, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they've gone too far with that. I mean, there's no anonymity anyway. I mean, if you recognize how much we're being tracked on our phones, our computers, our desktop computers, our tablets, laptops, right? It's all being controlled. I mean, Phoebe and I were having a conversation in the kitchen about some topic. I forget what it was last week. And she opens up YouTube, and the first video that pops up is exactly what we're talking about. Yep. And she's like, this is freaky. We're getting Faraday bags for everything. We're going to put them in there so they can't talk to the internet. I said, you got to make it so they can't hear you, because the microphones are always on. You got
to put that Faraday bag over your head.
Yeah, literally. Well, the microphones are always on, so you got to put underwater. It's the only way it's going to stop it.
Yeah, there's no such thing as privacy. We need to get over that, unless you cut off yourself from all form of communication and go live in a van down by the river, in a cave on a mountainside somewhere. Be eating berries, whatever yeah. There's just, come on.
Yeah, and we don't want to live that way. And what we need to do is we need to bring morality back to these companies that are doing all this tracking. And I don't know that I don't see anything on the horizon that's going to change that right now. And I don't know. You saw Grok 4.0 came out, and Elon himself said it's terrifying how smart it is.
I've seen a massive increase, not just Grok, but I play around with a couple of different ones. A massive increase in the ability of the AI, just over the last several months.
Yeah.
From what it was, it's day and night difference. I mean, this is going to be an exponential thing, and there's some people that have a lot of fear, of AI machines taking over. And, wanting to eliminate the weak link, which is the human, we've seen all the movies. And even there's been some articles, I don't even know how true they are, these AI robots going rogue, these Chinese, AI robots, or whatever they have out there going rogue and attacking people. I mean, this is just the on the doorstep. So this is why it's so important for us to get rid of the evil as much as we can. And have things move in a positive direction, because AI is just a tool, and we've talked about this many times before. It's who's where's it getting its information from, and how is it learning and assimilating that information. So if we give it good stuff, it's going to give you good stuff. The same thing with your brain is the same thing. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, it seems like Grok 3.0 just came out recently, and all of a sudden now they've got 4.0, and Elon himself says it's terrifying. They gave it this Grok 4.0. They gave it PhD level exams in every different discipline you could think about, and it came back scoring 100 on every single one of them. And, so we talk about AI only being able to reproduce or bring back what already exists. This AI is actually doing something new. This is the first time we've crossed that line now where it's creating new information. So there was apparently some industrial accident somewhere, and the experts couldn't figure it out. They fed the information into Grok, and Grok gave them a solution that they didn't have. So it's actually, he's saying now it's exceeded human intelligence for the first time.
It's beginning to reason
Right.
And developed that way.
Yeah.
There, I mean, even that the new Grok 4 also comes with some crazy super high subscription base. Wasn't it like $3,000 or am I? Was that is that high or something? Was it? It was there's a subscription base portion of the Grok 4, and it's just some crazy amount of money.
Yeah, and you're seeing the prices go up. I mean, it was what, 16.99. It's now $40 a month, right, for the basic one, and it's going to go up from there. It'll be $100 before you know it. And as these get bigger and bigger, they require so much more energy and so many more computers and so many more CPUs and GPUs, and it's going to be more costly to use them. But you might think, well, I don't use AI. Interesting. Did you look on your phone? When you get a bunch of email messages, it starts now to summarize the email messages. That's AI. You're on Facebook, you get the summary of all the comments. That's AI. You go on YouTube, you get a summary of the people talking. It's seeing it everywhere. And that's why I say it's like one of the things that a lot of people will say is, I can't make an impact. I can't make a difference. But everything we do online is sending a signal, right? Everything. So how do you know? Well, we used to look at the what is it? The Zeitgeist was the thing from Google, and
Yeah.
they would give you an idea of what are the main topics that people are talking about right now. But you don't need that anymore. Now you got AI. AI will go into all the social media networks, go to all the posts, look at everything, and come back and give you a summary of what is on people's minds. What do you think the Trump administration just did? Well, what did we hear today, Bruce? Did you hear what Trump said today?
I may have missed it. I may have heard it, but what?
We're going to release more information on the Epstein because the base wants it.
Oh,
How do they
okay.
know that the base wants it? Because all of us are talking about it, right?
Well, he got ratioed on his own post.
Yeah.
That big long post. There was more comments than there was views, and a lot of them, weren't complimentary as far as supportive of the post.
So just don't go in there thinking, hey, I'm gonna respond to something and Trump is going to read it. No, but you're part of. It's almost like voting. Your vote is not going to put Trump in power, right? When it's a presidential vote, but you do it, I do it, everyone does it, your neighbors do it, everyone. All of a sudden, it creates a mass, and I think that's what we have to look at here. It's exactly that, and the social media is really, you're getting a lot more signals. Somebody had said last week, said the amount of negativity and the amount of pushback and anger and all the rest of that stuff was always here. We just didn't see it because we didn't have social media. Can be true, right?
I would. I think the social media tends to feed in. Whether that was a root, basic, fundamental truth before social media, I didn't have any of that in myself, but I see stuff online that triggers me.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, and we, it's hard to keep those emotions in check for sure. But it is exasperated any type of ill feel. It magnifies it. That's a good word. It magnifies any of the discontent. And then and it's like a ball rolling downhill, snowball. It builds up, speed and size. So yeah, it doesn't take much. One or two people, the boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, we're trending somewhere, and it's not good for the movement.
Yeah. And this, what I always tell people, it's like, especially when you're looking at specific feeds, or our channel as an example, right? If you're looking at the Renegade Media channel on Telegram, you got to look at it and you have to be able to make up your mind for yourself. You cannot look at these things and say, okay, that's what I'm going to believe because it was posted there. No, not at all. Always question it. We question everything. There's so much stuff that we could post and don't post because we'll go, I don't know, that doesn't seem right. Something's off about this, or that looks like that image may be generated by AI, right? And it's harder now to tell. The AI is getting so good. It's getting harder and harder to tell. But, you have to use your own discernment with everything that's coming out. And just don't take, because your neighbor and the guy next door and the guy at the candy store, they all say the same thing, doesn't mean it's true.
Right. Absolutely. And that's why you got to, not be pigeonholed and just get your information from one source. You got to, spread out and get a diverse viewpoints so that you can make an intelligent decision based on, where you're at, your own intuition, discernment, your connection with the creator, and, how you see things happening. Because we can be, I don't want to be in an echo chamber, a yes guy, just going along to get along. No, that's what got us into this mess that we're in. And, we need to do things differently than we have in the past if we're going to expect any different results for the future going forward.
Exactly. I thought this was kind of cute, General Flynn. I can't believe Epstein killed himself right before he was about to be acquitted due to a complete lack of evidence. Okay, maybe not.
Well, here's the thing. Look, this is just my perspective. Just tossing it out there. There's lots of people that buy into the Flynn network, thing that he's working behind the scenes to undermine Trump. Well, up until this Epstein thing blew up, I didn't see a lot of guff, coming, contradictory types things, Flynn criticizing Trump until this Epstein thing came up. And now he's, one of the bigger, larger voices out there that are calling, that this was a huge mistake by doing what they did.
Yeah. Well, it was, they're calling it a communication misstep, and it probably was a much better way of handling it. Trump can be off the cuff sometimes, and I think that's what we ended up with. Even I was talking to Lewis the other day, and he was saying he was very surprised that Trump came out swinging when somebody asked him about Epstein. It's like, that's uncharacteristic of him. And, it just tells you there's a lot of pressure on him about this. So he just snapped. I guess that's all you can say.
Yeah. No, and here's the thing. We're all focused on this one thing. And that's when we started this whole movement. It was all about saving the children, right? And exposing the pedophile, baby eaters out there. But if you really, set that one thing aside and look at all the other, the body of evidence, the body of work since Trump has been in office, it's just been incredible, the things that he's been able to get accomplished. And we're finally starting to get some wins, some pretty major wins in the Supreme Court, fighting this lawfare. I mean, the Epstein thing, everybody's talking about Epstein, but in the last 3 weeks, this came through one of the Substacks that I read by BioClandestine. In the last 3 weeks, Trump stopped the Israel-Iran war. NATO's paying more for their own defense. Congress passed the big, beautiful bill. Comey Brennan and others are under investigation. Mass layoffs at U.S. agencies. And that today was the big win that the Supreme Court said, the Trump administration can dismantle the Department of Education. So heads are, left, our heads are exploding about that. But everybody's focused on the whole Epstein thing. And look at all the other wins, the economic stuff, the tariffs. Everybody's, the sky is going to fall and everything. We're going to be inflation and can't afford any damn thing because of the tariffs. And actually, inflation is down, almost non-existent currently. In June, there was a budget surplus of $27 billion that came in from tariffs. That's over $100 billion a year from tariffs. So the tariffs are working. Prices are holding the line. And, all these things that the left and media people said that were going to happen bad and because of what Trump is doing, they're all wrong again.
Yep.
So you got to look for the good stuff. I mean, there's tons of good wins. With the Trump, being able to lay stuff off. There was over 1,000 people that Rubio laid off out of the State Department. Bondi still, got her axe going. Trimming down the evil ones out of the Department of Justice. And so, I mean, just got to be patient. We got, 18 months, a little less than 18 months before the midterms of 26. We still got tons of time to get things done. And we'll see.
Nobody changed so much. Yeah, by the time 18 months comes along, this came out today too. Ghislaine Maxwell's ready to tell the American people the truth about Epstein's client list before Congress.
Well, it was funny. People saying, Ghislaine Maxwell should file for a retrial because there's no list, there's no evidence of anybody doing anything. So who is she trafficking? Who is she the madam for? Who is she the contact person with? For all this stuff, it's just Epstein himself and all these videos that they have tens of thousands of hours. It's all just child porn. It's not, state actors or, ruling elites performing these acts. This is just child porn that Epstein decided to download off of the internet, and that's what these videos are. Come on. Yeah. I was born at night, but last night. Give me a break.
I tell you, that's what they're trying to do, make us believe that. Before we get too far into this, I want to let you guys know renegademedia.tv. It's where you want to go. You want to find out more about me. You want to come follow my social media channels and such. Just get signed up on the email list because I do send out emails there as well. And if you want to follow Mr. Bruce Poppy, there's a new YouTube channel that's really hot right now called The Bruce Poppy Show. You want to go there and find out what Bruce is up to. He actually posted a video, I'm looking here. Was it yesterday, Bruce, you did it, or today? When was the last time you posted it?
With moving and, I've had a challenge in uploading some stuff, but I got a whole pile of stuff that I'm getting ready to unload on there. So there's going to be a bunch of new shorts. I got another longer term thing going on. So it's stuff is coming. This move really put a hitch in my giddy up as far as the social media stuff, because it does take a lot of effort and time to be able to put together the videos and edit and upload and all the different types of stuff. There you go. That's the show you want to watch. It took us 3 times to be able to get that thing recorded properly.
Yeah, I don't know which one was the best, 1, 2, or 3. I think the third time was a charm, right?
Oh yeah, third time was a charm for sure. That was way better.
So yeah, I sent out an email to my list, and people were like, "Oh, I didn't know that about you," because I don't really talk much about myself. And Bruce said, "Hey, I want to learn more about you. So let's talk about your story." So we did a video on that, and that's on Bruce's channel, the Bruce Poppy Show on YouTube, and you'll find it there. Thank you, Bruce. Good interview. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed learning more about people. Because everybody, here we are, this 5th generation warfare. We're in this war of stories, war of narratives. And that's what we're fighting. It's information war, and every single person watching, you have your own story. How you came through COVID, or whatever situation it is in your life, and those stories need to be told, and it can have a positive impact, help somebody else down the road. So don't think that I'm just a nobody. My story isn't important. No, it's really friggin' important, and I would love to be able to tell it and share it. So if you want to, email me your story at higherviewpoint@gmail.com. Higher Viewpoint, HIGHER, Viewpoint, VIEWPOINT, higherviewpoint@gmail.com. Email me your story, and we can set you up and get you on the show.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. I'd like to see you interview Joey G. I'd like to see you, Edward Patriot. I'd like to, there's a
Buckshot. Buckshot has a really good story too. Yeah, Paul Buckshot has a really good story as well.
Yeah, he does.
So he's been on different shows and different things. So many people aren't aware of these stories and how people's lives have been affected through this operation, and it's important. Another thing that's coming up that's going to be huge is the Dear Mr. President documentary that Mel Carmine kind of initiated, but it's took it on a life of its own. Carol Marie Frieson's helping them out with that, and tons of influencers, podcasters, or what are sending in their videos to be a part of this documentary. And people reaching out. Carol was telling me Roseanne Barr, Ted Nugent, people of that nature are getting involved in this documentary. It's all about the censorship that's been going on. So wait for that. It's coming out end of August, beginning of September. This documentary, Dear Mr. You can see the trailer at, I think it's dearmrpresident.net, I think, or .com.
I think you're right. Yeah, dearmrpresident.net, I think it is.
Yeah, that's coming. That's going to be huge. I mean, all kinds of fantastic, good stuff is happening. We just can't be focusing on all the evil stuff, because guess what? Where focus goes, energy flows. And so if you focus on the negative stuff, guess what's going to manifest in your life? Negative stuff.
Are you more like Tony Robbins or Dean Graziosi? Which one are you?
I would probably, I don't know. I like a little bit of every. I like to Bruce it up. You
like to Bruce it up. I love it.
Yeah, because all the principles and the different things that we can implement in our lives, they are timeless, and they're nothing new. I think that's where people go wrong, is they're looking for some new thing, new silver bullet, new this or that, the other, that can help them along their path. But the old stuff is still good. And so that's why it's important to really, grasp into that and become the best versions of ourselves we can be.
Absolutely. Speaking of weirdos, so it turns out that all the pardons were done with an auto pen, which is not constitutional. It's against the Constitution to do that. This one was done at 10:30 at night. So all these pardons that Biden did for the J6 people and Fauci apparently now are all illegal. They're no good. So now they have no protection. And apparently, from what I understand today, Biden is hiring lawyers to protect himself.
Because his previous lawyer took a hike. He said, no, I'm done, man. I'm out of here.
When they heard that, they're like, okay, we can't play this game anymore. We're not going to win this one.
Yeah. But there's stuff coming.
Yeah, Rand Paul came up and he said, we're going to reopen Charlie. We're going to get him back in front of Congress again. Okay, great. Another hearing. Oh, boy, another hearing. Here we go. I got to see charges at this point. And I think there are enough people fed up. And I don't understand at all. I cannot make heads or tails out of why the FDA approved another mRNA vaccine. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't have those answers either.
Yeah. I thought RFK Jr. was going to get rid of that stuff after everything that we know about these things and how detrimental they are. There was another doctor that came out and was showing the hearts of people who had 5 of them and how much damage is done. It's just unreal. They've got 5 years
there's probably the idea behind the mRNA and what it was initially meant for is probably good, but we're still long way away from perfecting that and being able to utilize it in the proper way. It's not good the way it is, and there ain't no way on God's green earth I'm getting anywhere near any type of injection, mRNA or any other,
right?
By choice, So we gotta, that's been huge. Well, and that's supposed to come late September, October. The results from RFK's looking into the massive increase in autism, and it's all seemingly at this point linked back to the 70 plus vaccines that get pumped into children before they're 1 or 2 years old.
Yep. And a lot of that information is already starting to come out, so we're getting more informed. And I think parents are going to get more informed, and they'll walk away from the wellness visits and the nonsense that's been going on there. The doctor says, well, if you don't want your kid to get the jab, then you can't come here anymore. Well, that's not a doctor. That's a pusher.
Yeah. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of here.
You won't be able to go to school. You won't be able to go, if you don't get your shots, you can't go to school. That's the new thing.
Yeah. So Trump gets more good news from the Supreme Court. They're allowing him to proceed with dismantling the DOE. 6-3 vote. Sotomayor fumes. Of course she's going to fume. I don't know where these people came from. But anyway, yes, this is good news. We're going to get rid of the Department of Education. We got to put education back in the hands of the local school systems, not the state. Okay, maybe, but I'd prefer it to be local. I prefer every school system to have their own plan, their own way of educating their kids, and they can all compete amongst themselves. And, the ones that find the better systems will excel, and the other ones will have to at some point follow. But to have it run at the federal level, always been a mistake.
Yep. No, 100%. That's part of dismantling, getting, back to, our own self-governance. They bastardize in the bloated federal bureaucracy that's going on.
Yeah.
That's the tyranny. We think, the faces that we see on the daily, whether they're in Congress or Senate or in the White House, the tyranny is the bureaucrats, right? I saw, like them or hate them, love them, Jake Chansley, right? The QAnon shaman. I saw the short video he did a little while back up talking about tyranny and the bureaucracy. And these agencies, these 3-letter type agencies, whatever they are, they have, the founding fathers separated these things on purpose and put checks and balances in executive, judiciary, and legislative. Well, even within, pick one, just say the EPA, they have their own executive. Right? They make the regulations. They make their own regulations. That's the legislative. And then they have their own enforcement within the agency. So they're also, all 3 branches are in each of these agencies. And that's where the tyranny is.
Yeah.
all these agencies need to go away. So
Well, tell me why the
I'll try to
FDA
find
needs a
it.
SWAT team,
Right.
right? Or the EPA has a SWAT team. It's just like it's crazy. And they go into farms and they say, they'll go in guns blazing because they're selling raw milk. I'm like, okay, how crazy could this get?
Yeah.
Raw milk was
Or a
around for
hole in the
3,000
ground
years.
fills up with rain, and all of a sudden it's a federally protected water source.
It's a yeah, pretty well. A lot of that stuff apparently has been taken down now, according to Lee Zeldin. A lot of those regulations.
Right.
Well,
And then the big thing that
the
Lewis.
Supreme Court when they had the Chevron deference come up.
Right. That's what I was just going to mention.
Right.
They've taken that away, but I don't know that anybody's really challenged it and won. I haven't seen any, publicized
Bingo.
situation.
Bingo. It's exactly. I'm waiting for that too. And I think the first case that comes up, then we'll start to see change. But they're not going to voluntarily pull these rules.
Oh yeah. No.
They can't enforce them, but you got to fight it in court. And I don't know that anyone's willing to do that because it costs so much to do it.
That's the criminal thing where we the people are at a major disadvantage. Is these big agencies, governments, bureaucracies, whatever, can string you along and just drive you into the ground financially and morally, how you feel through the court system, and can't win. So it seems like that old saying, you can't fight City Hall. That's one of the things in the system that needs to change. The only ones that wins in a lawsuit are the friggin' lawyers.
Always. The lawyers always win. No matter what, they win. Yeah, no question. Guys,
Yeah,
how do you like the work Bruce is doing here today? For a guy who said a couple of weeks ago he doesn't want to do news anymore, he's pretty much on top of things, isn't he?
See, yeah. It just doesn't get me excited. What gets me more excited is trying to help people change their mindset. That's what gets me, juiced and jazzed up. Mm-hmm. The new stuff. It's just until it doesn't get my juices flowing anymore. I watch it and I understand everything that's going on, but I can't. It's not exciting enough for me to be able to push go live and talk about the news. I'd rather talk about how we can change the mindset and create solutions going forward in every day of your life instead of waiting for somebody else to fix it for us.
How do you feel about sponge cake?
I love sponge cake.
Okay. Well,
but
if you ordered
eight-legged
this
kind
from Germany, you'd be very surprised opening up the box because apparently they had baby tarantulas in the sponge cake box.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
I mean, I don't have any issue with spiders. I know my son, my number one son, who just turned 41, by the way.
Woo.
So happy birthday to Bruce the Third. He just turned 41, but he's arachnophobic, right? He hates spiders. I don't have that problem. I know people freak out, and tarantulas they're pretty ominous looking, and I can see why people would have an aversion for those things.
So they put them in these little capsules and they put them in these boxes that were labeled as sponge cakes, and they were stopped at the border coming into Germany. It's like, I guess there's money in spiders. I never thought there'd be money in spiders, and maybe there are.
There's money in everything. I mean, what they smuggle, and I mean, you'd be surprised. It's not just drugs, but yeah, I mean, even birds. All kinds of different animals they smuggle them all the time, but we just don't pay attention. It's not something on our radar to look at, but that happens more than we think.
No, if we can't stop the child trafficking, it's hard to stop the wild animal trafficking too.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. So we've got tarantulas out here. I didn't know I could make a fortune. Just go out there and catch a few, No, they live 9 years apparently, so you gotta let them be.
And the spiders are good. They eat the bad bugs.
Yeah, they really are.
People get freaked out about snakes and different types of bugs and stuff, but there's a whole purpose. The Creator put them on the planet for a reason. It's not just to scare you.
This is what the sky looked like this week. That's Phoebe out there in the field, and look at that. No sky art. Isn't it beautiful? What a beautiful sight.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, we have only seen one chemtrail in the past month now, so kind of fun. I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that that stuff is getting taken care of. I hear in other parts of the country it's constant.
It's, I mean, I don't pay much attention, but I mean, here's, that's one of the things that we have been, for so long. Oh, they don't do that. It's vapor conspiracy. Now it's proven, right? With this whole Texas flooding situation that happened over recently, there was the CEO of the company called Rainmaker. They do cloud seeding for, on purpose. People pay them to do cloud seeding.
Yep.
And they came out and said, that wasn't us. We didn't have nothing to do with the Texas situation. So weather modification, all that stuff, we're told we're crazy. It's a conspiracy theory. No, it's real. It's real.
Yeah, I don't think it was that company. I think that company, what they're doing is just, it increases rain a little bit. Doesn't do a whole lot. But for what we saw in Texas, that was either HARP or NextRad or something like that. It was something much bigger.
Oh, well, absolutely. But I'm saying overall, the weather modification people think that's just a bunch of bunk.
It's conspiracy.
But yeah, if there's people out there that have businesses and they're making money by cloud seeding, if the government, you think they got higher and more powerful and different technology, the whole HARP thing, absolutely.
All you have to say in Los Angeles is ICE is scaring me, and they're going to give you some money, cash cards. They're going to give you money if you're affected by the ICE raids. I'm afraid of ICE. Well, then don't open your freezer. What can I tell you? How is it even possible that this is happening?
And this is the infuriating thing. People like this, the failed Mayor Karen Bass, the DEI hire or, appointed, allegedly won an election, signing an executive order to give illegals money to help them avoid being deported.
Yep.
Or immigration raids or whatever. How is that not a federal crime? How come Tom Homan's not running up and perp walking this person? I mean,
Karen Bass was involved in the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center. How is she?
She's got a very sordid past for sure.
Yeah. How is she mayor of Los Angeles? Again, we say, well, these people are they're put in there and put in those positions.
Right.
Crazy.
So, I mean, until one person, whether it's the guy, the mayor in Denver or, Pritzker or that whack job Johnson in Chicago, any of these sanctuary city type of officials that are continually outwardly, openly, helping these illegals, these criminals avoid justice. How is that not aiding and abetting? That's the mind blowing thing that I can't, have those two ends meet.
The one that I could think of is the Department of Justice is just so overwhelmed. I mean, there's so many things they can go after. I guess they got to pick their battles at this point.
Yeah. That's another thing that annoys me, the prosecutorial discretion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
know what you did is criminal, it's illegal, but hey, we're going to choose because there might be a chance that our win-loss record in the court might get affected, so we're not going to prosecute this because we're more concerned about our win-loss record and our potential political aspirations as an attorney, district attorney, or whatever.
Let me test your knowledge. A skill testing question for you, Mr. Poppy.
Okay.
How does a bill become a law?
A bill becomes a law when the head of the executive branch signs it.
I'm going to go with no on that one.
I was going to say till the president signs it, but
it becomes a law when they're told we'll release your kitty tapes if you don't vote yes.
Well, there's another a sect or a section, a fragmentation of the Truther movement that's saying, Trump is using the Epstein files to blackmail these people into voting to get his stuff done. Yep. So there is that floating around out there.
Yeah, no question. I've heard that theory as well. And again, we don't know. It's above our pay grade to find that information out. And we always have to remember that what we're seeing is just what bubbles up to the surface for us to see. And there's a whole plethora of things that go on beneath the surface we have no idea about. And I keep telling people, I said, even though we're in this movement and we're on top of it and we're watching and paying attention, every one of us is going to be shocked by some of the things we see going forward. And you have to be ready for that, right? And be able to deal with it,
Right. Well, it was quite funny. Where I was on a show with Dave from News Treason, or Mark from News Treason, Joe from TrueStream, and Patriot Underground last night. And they floated out, we talk about Q and who's good and who, sometimes people you think might be bad are going to be good and good going to be bad. Somebody taught, do you think James Comey is going to end up to be a good guy? I'm like, I don't. How? So we don't even know. Nobody knows.
We don't know.
Nobody knows. So just take a breath, relax. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fine. All right, a little bit of brainstorming before we wrap up here. I see people are jumping off because they have other podcasts to head on because we hit the hour mark, and that's the way that works. But I just wanted to brainstorm with you a little bit. I'm thinking about doing a new show, and it would be more of a roundtable show. And we will cover 3 kind of current event topics and get some robust discussion going. What do you think about that idea? And I want to hear from you in the chat room too. What do you think?
I like that idea because, again, you get different perspectives, different takes, where it's not just a big echo chamber where, everybody's saying the same thing. I would love, and I still put it out there, anybody, some left type person, if you're willing, you want to have a discussion, I'm open and honest, but nobody wants to take me up on it. I want to hear perspective from different people because that's more information that I can use to be able to discern what I would lead to be truth or not truth, how I live and structure what I think going forward.
Yeah, good.
Right?
The idea here is to break through the echo chamber a little bit and give you different perspectives. Because I think one of the challenges I see is if you follow one person or 2 people and they have a specific viewpoint on something, you end up taking on that viewpoint because you haven't heard anything else. And in order to make what I call an informed decision about anything, about where you stand, you need different viewpoints. I was thinking about doing that. It's actually where we started on the Renegade Media channel. It's actually some of the shows that we did very early on. We had a bunch of people on, sometimes as many as 6 different guests on one show. And, they went on for 3-4 hours sometimes, but the discussion was always really good. So I'm thinking about doing that again. I'm thinking about kicking that off. It'll probably be on Thursday evening. So I want to hear from you guys in the chat room. You think that's a good idea? You think it's a waste of time? And Bruce, what do you think? You think it's a good idea? I think I want to do it.
Yeah, I like the idea. Again, I mean, 6 is probably a lot because I was on last night. There was 4 of us, and 2 or 3 others. A total of 4, I think, would be good.
Yeah,
you get much more than that, and everybody's, takes too long to get around the horn, if you will.
Yeah.
To get everybody's perspective, but yeah, keeping just a couple of 3, super relevant topics. And then just, banter it about. And there's, there's no wrong answers, right? That's what, I love the Prince song, Dearly Beloved. We're all gathered here together today to get through this thing called life.
Yeah.
And I learned from Robert. He learns from me. Everybody learns from everybody else. So the more input that we have into our own personal situation, I think the better off and the more beneficial decisions that we can make in our own life.
Remember, AI is not going to think for you. Right? You still have to be able to think and ask for what you want and ask it in such a way. I went through a process last week where I needed to put together an ebook and, asking a bunch of questions to Grok, and it just came back and gave me a 12,000 word ebook. But, I still have to go through it and make sure the stuff is accurate and correct and something I can stand behind before I publish it.
Sure.
So
I have arguments with AI all the time,
yeah.
And I catch it in a lot of problems.
Bruce, where do we find you online besides the Bruce Poppy Show on YouTube? Where else are you hiding out?
Unpopular Viewpoint on Rumble, of course. And then if you want to, on X and Facebook, on X, it's Bruce Poppy 1776 on X. I still do stuff on there. And then Facebook, I have the Bruce Poppy Show on Facebook and just Bruce Poppy. You can friend me. Yeah, I'm super serious about hearing from people's stories. Email me higherviewpoint@gmail.com, and we'll put you on. If it's worthy.
I'm looking at the chat room. Everyone's loving the idea. All right, so we'll do it. And as Denise is saying, Robert and 3 others. Yeah, I think 4 is a good number. I said in the past we had 6. And I think maybe it was a little bit too much, but I think 4 people would be fantastic. Bruce Poppy, thank you so much.
Try to get different people.
Yeah, you'll be one of them. I guarantee. That's
Appreciate
for sure.
it.
So thank you so much for joining us. I know that you have a busy life there, and take an hour off your day. Sometimes not always easy, but I appreciate it, and thank you, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your input today. It's good to have a chat.
Absolutely, it's reciprocal as well. It's like Trump wants reciprocal trade. I'm for reciprocal relationships and respect.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend. And thank you all for watching. We appreciate all of you. And we'll be back again next Monday with another show. But, probably have something coming up this week. And I will be working on the new Thursday show. And I'll let you guys know when the first one of those will be, because I think it'll be a lot of fun to put it together. So I've got some work to do on my side to make sure it looks nice and is smooth and bug-free and all the rest of that. But it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I had run the idea by Lewis, and he said, "Great, I'll stop by." I'm like, "Great," It's like I think it's a good idea to have multiple perspectives on some of these current event topics, because everyone will bring something new. It's interesting. It's like Bruce and I were very aligned on many topics, but he always has a little bit of a different flavor to things than I do, and I have a different flavor than he does. And together, it's like it really brings more robustness to the conversation when you're able to do that.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Thank you all. Thanks for subscribing, sharing, liking, and all the rest of that good stuff. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.